So, of course, we know eventually Brock Lesnar is going to make the leap into MMA, but that was after you're already up and going with TNA. So you're at least having these conversations ahead of time. But he had left the WWF before you did, and made some money over in Japan. Were you talking to Brock about what maybe was possible over in Japan?
Well, he called me out of the blue. I guess he didn't want to do a job for anybody over in Japan when he was IWGP champion. It was the third belt that we wrestled for, IWGP third belt. I heard Brock was stripped of that title, but he wasn't stripped because I beat him for that title. Brock wanted me to come over to Japan to wrestle him so he could lose to me, and I would end up losing to somebody over in New Japan. So that was his idea. I told him I'd do it. We were good friends, very close, and if he wanted me to come over and do that for him, I was willing to do it. So, TNA gave me the approval, and, obviously TNA got paid for those events,
of course,
because they were paying me. And so I didn't see any money from the events in Japan, New Japan, for the IWGP title. Even when I continued to defend it, and I think I did 3 more times. So TNA was getting that money, and that's when I put a stop to it. And I said, okay, I can't be going over Japan and not making any money. This is ridiculous. So that's when I dropped the title, because they wanted me to hold it for a while longer. And I said, no, I'm going to drop it the next time I wrestle in Japan.
It is fascinating to think. We saw you and Brock, of course, in WWE, and then we saw you guys in Japan. But you just barely missed each other with this preliminary conversation about MMA, because when Brock decides he's going to move on from wrestling in Japan, he jumps, both feet into the fire for MMA. And it is kind of interesting to think that maybe one of the UFC super fights one day could have been Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle. That would have been pretty interesting.
Well, you know what? I would not want to fight Brock out of respect for him and the friendship we had. But if the money were right, I know he'd want to fight me.
Sure.
And I know I would want to fight him too. So it is all about money. Sometimes it kind of sucks. You can't take that personally, because you're trying to provide money for your family, to take care of them. And that comes first before friendship. So I'm sure that Brock and I would have, if they would have gave us the right figure, we probably would have went at it.
If you would have gone into that, do you think you would have competed at heavyweight, or would you have tried to cut and see if you could get down to 205?
Oh, I was close to 205 at the time. So light heavyweight would have been my weight class. There's no doubt about that. But would I fight heavyweight? Sure. Certain fights I would do that. But, these guys, you're giving up a lot of weight. And that could take its toll on you during a fight. If they're leaning on you and getting you tired, that's when your quickness goes away, and you can't afford to lose that. So it's a tough thing to do, but I probably would have fought a few of the heavyweights.
It is interesting to think, though, had you done that, maybe we would have seen you and Randy Couture, or you and Chuck Liddell, or you and Tito Ortiz, because 205 was really where the money was for UFC in that era. I mean, that was
very hot at the time. Yeah,
absolutely.